Tourists arriving in London yesterday were turned away from their hotel in Canary Wharf as the Home Office had commandeered the plush accommodation for migrants.
Why? Why you still online that's a booking? You are told the agent to stop the booking.
I can't help it.
Footage online appeared to show multiple groups of travellers being turned away.
This guy actually booked a room, but they cancelled his reservation.
They're going to let me go in. Advise we actually have now the gentleman,
James Wilkinson.
I have to blur that out.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. Yeah. So you've actually, when did you book the room?
Only a couple of days ago.
How much was the room?
80 quid.
So a bit of an update for you. Just spoke to the local commander. He tells me that the hotel now is being prepared to accept asylum seekers. So the rumours are true. It's a pity that some of the police officers didn't know, some did know, and absolutely furious. This hotel here, by the way, I mean, it must cost a couple £100 a night to stay there. Most normal people in this country would not even be able to afford to come and stay here for a weekend, but we've got illegals coming, and I hope the protesters remain peaceful and don't get to bother. They seem like a quiet bunch at the moment, but you know, let's hope it's all peaceful.
Furious protesters gathered outside. Some clashed with police, saying they'd been pelted with eggs.
Out the window at them. And they've told you that they've got no one in there, but the eggs have just come out the window. So the eggs is
sit there and say, when eggs come on a fucking fit on their feet.
There's no... Yeah. Look, so there's the eggshells here, yeah? So there's the eggshells. It's come from this... I don't know how many, look, there's more here, look. But that's the sort of thing that's going to breach the peace.
We're in the hotel dealing with it. I just need everybody back in the hotel.
Yeah. Mate, but that's what's going to breach the peace. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
If, you know, on one side, if there's sort of aggravation from your side, that can cause it.
Not my side.
No, if there's aggravation from their side, it can cause it. You know what I'm saying,
yeah.
okay?
But them throwing eggs and stuff.
So everybody's got an equal responsibility, and I'm going to deal with that, okay?
Okay, because you did say that there wasn't no one in there earlier on.
There's not, in terms of residents.
So how do they get the eggs then? Who's throwing the eggs?
Only be staff, so I'm going to do
you know? So the members of staff are throwing eggs at us. So the members of staff are the ones that are throwing the eggs.
Rumours had spread online that protest in Epping had forced the Home Office to evacuate the migrants to Canary Wharf. This looks to be untrue, but the hotel has been requisitioned by the government to house asylum seekers. The local council said in a statement, "We are aware of the government's decision to use the Britannia Hotel in Canary Wharf to provide temporary accommodation for asylum seekers. It's important that the government ensures that there's a full package of support for those staying at the hotel. We are working with the Home Office and partners to make sure that all necessary safety and safeguarding arrangements are in place." Top civil servant Simon Ridley admitted to a parliamentary committee the government were keeping 5,000 beds spare in hotels across the country for migrants.
We're making sure we've got a buffer of as close to 5,000 beds as we can have, so that we've always got an outflow. So we're carrying a large number of empty beds in order to let us move people out. But then crucially...
Sorry, can I just stop you there? So these 5,000 beds that you're keeping empty just in case, these are additional hotel beds, are they? In the southeast?
Across the country. But
okay.
Because we've got to have, because it's unpredictable, okay. As you said.
You've got 5,000 beds available in case you have a huge number of people coming through Manston.
Yeah, so we've aimed to have a buffer there. It is less than that at the moment because an awful lot of people arrived over the weekend.
They did? So, right, okay, because you're obviously struggling to get hotels anyway, and now you're telling me you've got hotel beds that you're keeping empty just in case Manston, the numbers really spike in Manston.
We've by definition got to have some beds empty to be able to flow people.
Sorry, you've got 5,000 beds you are paying for just in case you need them. Is that what you're telling me?
It's fewer than that now, but we are keeping a buffer of hotel beds so that if people arrive, we can move people out of Manston and maintain the turning people around in 24 hours.
Late last night it emerged Essex police had escorted counter-protesters to the hotel in Epping, where families had been protesting at the Asylum Hotel.
Have a look at this video.
If these are locals, why are they getting in a police car? What time's the next bus? You wait 15 minutes for a bus and then 3 come all along at once. Look, they're all cramming in.
This shows Stand Up to Racism, as they're called, with Antifa, a violent, thuggish group, arriving at the train station and literally, by Essex police, being bussed to the Bell Hotel. These were the people that caused the disturbances. These were the people that caused the riots. Essex police caused the disturbances. What on earth were Essex police thinking? Is it that they just hate so much ordinary residents determined to stand up for their own rights? I don't know the answer to that question. What I do know is what Essex police have done here is absolutely disgraceful. One of the most extraordinary acts I've seen from the police force in my lifetime. And for bussing Antifa, oh, and by the way, many of them masked protesters, for doing this, heads must roll. There is no way the Chief Constable or the Police and Crime Commissioner in Essex can stay in their posts. This is a disgrace.
Well, I think there are some serious questions for Essex Police to answer here with regard to that hotel in Epping, the Bell Hotel, which has been at the centre of protests after allegations against one of the asylum seekers there of sexual assault, an allegation or allegations that person denies. But that's led to lots of people, concerned people in the community, coming out and protesting. And at a protest on Friday, as often happens with these protests, you get what's called a counter-protest, anti-fascist protesters who descended on the scene. They were escorted to the Bell Hotel by Essex Police. Nothing unusual in that. That kind of happens at lots of protests. But look at this. This is images that we've obtained that show police vans, at least 2 of them there, with dozens of these protesters inside the vans. And it looks like they're being taken away from the location of the hotel there. Now, the police might well argue that the reason they're doing this is safety grounds, that they had to move these protesters, the counter-protesters, away to stop serious violence. However, look at the optics. The optics of this are just terrible. You've got people in communities who are very distrustful of the police, who believe that there's 2-tier policing, that the police are somehow in cahoots with these counter-protesters. And here they are giving them lifts back to the police station. Now, if there was, or the train station, I should say, if there was legitimate issues and concerns about violent disorder, then the question might be, one, take them on foot back to the station, as you did when you took them from the station to the location. But 2, if you were really concerned and you didn't have enough police there to manage this situation, why did you let the counter-protesters anywhere near the hotel? They can, through, public safety laws and public order policing, can impose certain conditions. They could have kept those counter-protesters well away from the Bell Hotel that day, but they didn't.
Have the police commented on that?
This is what we hope.
Right.
This press conference that Charlie Peters will be attending will shed some light on it. Maybe that, I'm sure they will tell us about how it was the right operational decision because of real concerns that they had about the potential for violent disorder. But for all of those things I discussed, the terrible optics of this, the distrust within the communities of police, I think it was actually quite an absurd command decision to do that, especially, as I say, if they didn't have enough officers on the ground to be able to manage 2 groups of protesters safely. Why did they let that second group, which is all about the whole reason that this counter-protest group exists is to go and challenge main protest groups, calling them racist and whatever they are. It was always going to be a potential flashpoint, bringing another group of protesters in there. If you don't have the police to manage it, why bring them in?
Meanwhile, the Home Office has announced it will share the allocations of migrant accommodation with Just Eat, Deliveroo and Uber Eats to crack down on migrants working illegally. The Home Office announced yesterday they'd arrested someone suspected of facilitating illegal immigration, and that immigration enforcement have increased arrests for illegal working by 51%.